Good afternoon, everybody. This is David from New Block Hosting. I hope everybody out there is doing well. We wanted to start something new here. We haven't necessarily come up with a name for it yet, but I was thinking something like Blogger Buddy or something like that. And we wanted to do both a video version and what will become a podcast version for you podcast listeners out there on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and some of the other options. I don't know that any other hosting company or agency has necessarily tried this in this form factor, but tell us what you like, tell us what you don't. We answer, the team here at New Block Hosting, we answer a lot of tickets. I'm not going to give out a number, but we answer a lot of tickets. We give out a lot of help. And we've always strived to go that extra step. Make your life a little easier, do a little more for you, and that's our niche. That's what we like to carve out. The reason we're able to do that is the management team here at New Block Hosting, we have 40 years, give or take, experience in hosting between us. Some of the others here have multiple years experience in hosting and systems administrations and WordPress and network design. We host our own stuff. We have our own data centers. We have our own hardware. We do our own thing. Because we do our own thing, that allows us to custom engineer solutions for you. We're not boxed into what this hosting company offers or what that hosting company offers. Never have been and hope to never will be. We can do what we need to do for you and make sure that you get the service that you're looking for at a cost-effective way of providing. Now, some of that goes into the fact that, like I said, we answer a lot of tickets. We take service to the next level. We go further than what Bluehost is going to go for you. We go further than what SiteGround is going to go for you. In a lot of cases, as far as I know, we go further than any host out there is willing to go based on the amount of money that you pay for your hosting plan, be it our basic package at $50 a year, our premium package at $15 a month, or for those that are on our VIP package at $50 a year. We still take the service level further than anybody else. That's what we've always done. And some of you come to us for advice. What should we do? What should I do? I got this message. I have this opportunity. I have this advertising opportunity. Some of you put your trust in us, which we appreciate. Because we understand that for some people, there is a sharp divide between running a WordPress blog being a hobby. There is, for some folks, it's a side business, or to use a common term, a side hustle. And then for some people, bottom line, it pays your bills. It pays your mortgage payment. It puts food on your table for you and your family. We understand that. That's why here a customer has never been a ID number, a blog name. If you come to us, we know you, the blogger. Most of the time, we know something about your blog. And a lot of the time, believe it or not, we know what you need and we know what you're thinking before you get here. That's generally how well we know our clientele because of what I'm about to talk about. We keep track of what goes on outside of our company. We keep track of the Facebook groups, the social media conversations, the hot topics in the industry, what other hosts are talking about, what other host clients are talking about. We are aware, both good and bad, of what's going on in the industry. We're aware of who's mad. We're usually aware of who's upset. We're usually aware of who's having a problem. Before the ticket ever hits our queue, we're aware of what's going on. Now, sometimes not. We're not perfect, but most of the time, if it's a big item, we're aware of it. Whether it be a WordPress release, whether it be a common plugin causing an issue, a common theme causing an issue, or an upcoming Google change, which we're about to talk about, we are aware of what's going on. Always have been, always will be. That's part of what makes us unique. We don't give you any canned responses, and in the rare case that we don't know or you need to go talk to a theme developer or talk to a plugin developer, we will either tell you or help you facilitate that conversation as best we can. Bottom line. Now, part of what I want to talk about today, I have stopped this video / podcast many times. I have recorded it probably a dozen times over the last 2 to 3 months. Why have I stopped the video? And I'm not going to stop it this time. I'm going to go ahead and finish it. Because we can see that the blogging industry is changing. And it is changing because ad companies are adjusting. Google is adjusting. And when those two items start to adjust, you're controlling, one, how your website is found, indexed, categorized, whatever term you want to use. You're then controlling what your ad revenue becomes. Because when Google makes a change, if it affects your numbers, it affects your ad revenue. It affects your sponsored post. Then you start seeing the leaves come off the tree of site speed, content, SEO, if you will. What do you do? What is the answer? And, this is the tough part. This is why I've stopped this video. We see so many tickets and so many things come through our queue. I don't want one customer or one group of customers saying, okay, he's referring to me. No, I'm not referring to anybody. I'm not referring to anybody that is a new blog hosting customer. I'm giving you open, honest, some of it's going to be tough love, advice. I'm not saying you've done something wrong. I'm saying that I feel like the blogging industry is at the point that we need to have the tough conversation. Think of it when your parents had to sit you down, and you had to sit down with your parents and have that tough conversation of something that you wanted to do. Or you had made a life decision and you had to sit down and have that conversation. Think about how difficult that was. You didn't want to hurt their feelings, but you needed to tell them what they needed to hear. This is that conversation. And this conversation has been brewing for, I would say, a couple years, maybe even 3 years. Because a lot of you, what started this is a lot of you came when Google said we want optimized websites. Everybody freaked out. They wanted load time. They wanted your images optimized. They wanted your scripts optimized. Everybody's looking at GT metrics. Everybody's looking at Google page speed. you know, it's not in the green, it's this. They're going to change the way I'm indexed. David, if they drop the way I'm indexed, then that means I'm not going to make the ad revenue. So we have to fix this. Well, for a lot of folks, we did fix it. Some of you did what you needed to do. Some of you didn't. Some of you were right in between. Some of you didn't want to hear what you needed to do. And Google is approaching another one of those points with this new Google Web Vitals thing.
Here's the results.
And I have queued off Google right here on my phone during this video. Isn't that something? All right. So I guess she's always listening. But with Google Web Vitals, you're going into a place that builds upon what Google has done in the past. I have tried to preach to any blogger that comes through my door, that pings me, that sends me a text message. Content is always and always will be king. Good content, original content, authentic content. Some of you are hiring ghostwriters. I know this. I see enough blog posts on a daily basis to know that some of you are hiring ghostwriters. Stop that. Do your own work. Do your own work. Because when you do your own work, you're putting in your opinions, you're putting in something that is authentic to you that nobody else has done, and you don't have to worry about Google seeing it twice or seeing any form of it twice. Does that make sense? You don't have to worry about a piece of content not doing as well as it should and not knowing why. Do your own work. Have focused content. That's what Google's looking for. Good, solid, authentic, focused content. If you're a baby blog, stick to it. If you're a homemaker blog, stick to it. If you're a mom blog, stick to it. That's just a few examples. If you're a Disney blogger, and we host a lot of Disney bloggers, stick to your topic. That doesn't mean that in a homemaker blog you don't talk about your kids once in a while, because that would be under a kids blog. What I'm saying is keep your boundaries. Don't go outside of those boundaries because you've not put up content in 3 or 4 days and you got to get a number to get ad revenue. That's where the issue comes in. When people start talking numbers to make sure they hit an ad revenue, that's where you have a problem. That's where you start cutting corners. You go hire that ghostwriter for that quick piece of content. We see it happen. I see it happen a lot more than it should. And Google is going to catch that. Google is in the process of catching things like that, because some of you have been flagged for your redirects. When you're having to put the site origin headers in your HT access, that is Google setting up to make sure that your content is under your domain. Because over time, some of you have rebranded 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, etc. And you've put in the redirects to go here and there to make sure you keep the ad revenue up. And some of you have rebranded just to see if you could do more with ad revenue. We understand why you rebrand. We do. And some of you don't want to necessarily put in the effort to move the content, to put in that manual labor, so you would rather throw in the redirect. I get it. I get it. Google's tired of that. They want all your content under one domain. Does that mean right now that you need to go out there and start tackling your redirects? No, but don't be caught off guard when they finally come down and say, look, this is what we want. Make sure we get it. It's not so much about a site optimization, an optimized image, load speed. They really care about content. Those other items are important, but content is always king. They're going to talk to you about how your website loads on mobile. They're going to talk to you about things like content shift. They're going to talk to you about scripts. They're going to talk to you about external calls, time to first byte. They're going to talk to you about all those things. And most of you are going to read it. You're going to freak out. You're going to send in your ticket. And that's fine. But when you get the response, you have to process it and understand that there's becoming a point to where there's work involved and sometimes money involved to stay within the good graces of Google. For example, Google is on a crackdown to get rid of plugins, have an optimized theme, and to some of you, we have suggested themes such as Cadence. We've suggested Astra. We've suggested Divi in some cases. We've suggested Elementor in some cases. For you lucky folks that happen to have Mediavine as your advertising company, they've done it for you. They've done the work. I think there's a fee involved, but they have a theme called Trellis. Now, for those that are running Trellis, take a look at that theme. I remember when the Genesis themes were popular and everybody was worried about a blog aesthetic, what it looked like, how it felt. But take a look at that Trellis theme. It's very simple. You have a logo, you have a featured image, you have content. Your social media stuff and your caching and all that good stuff is built right into the theme, so you're not pulling in external plugins to get the job done. In most cases, about the most you've got is your Google information in your header. If you're tracking analytics, you've got your newsletter in a widget area on the left column or the right column, your ad. That's about it. That's about it. You don't have a big logo, a big landing page. Those days are kind of going by the wayside. And we understand at New Blog Hosting that the easy answer to these, or the feel-good answer, is to blame the host. Can I update my hosting plan and get this taken care of? In some cases, moving from a basic plan to a premium plan at New Blog Hosting will help. It does make things a little faster. Will it solve the Google problem? No. A host at the hosting level cannot solve the Google problem for you. This is work that has to be put in, maybe in conjunction with us or in conjunction with your host. But you have to, in a lot of cases, change themes. Go get a new site design. Chop your plugins in half. Do without some of the frilly things that look nice. Do without some of the ease and functionality. And when you start talking about spending money on themes and labor and stuff like that. That's where bloggers kind of freak out because you have now hit the pocketbook. You have now hit the pocketbook and, you throw out a reasonable number, a competitive number. They don't like it. When ultimately, when we do work for bloggers, if you're paying attention, what we charge is usually, if not always, well below what anybody else charges for the same work or better. Now, I don't want to turn this into a sales video, but what I'm trying to say is bloggers have to learn if it's more than a hobby, if it's an income, it's just like any other business. You run any business for 5 years, you run any business for 10 years, you have to reinvest, you have to renovate, right? Maybe you buy a new storage building, maybe you buy a new piece of equipment, but it takes a chunk of your change that you brought in to make that investment. That investment helps you move your business along and you build the cash flow back. That's the way blogging is too, if you look at it as a business. You ran it this way for a while. Google wants you to do something else. Okay, you go make the investment. You watch what you do. You make smart business decisions and you rebuild. If you can't run these blogs and constantly add to the money every month without taking something away from it to invest into it and do some rebuilding. You can't do it. You can't do it with any business. Blogging is no different. Now, if you've been paying attention to what Google has done over the last 2 or 3 years, like we've discussed, you kind of saw this coming. Now, am I saying that every blogger needs to jump on Web Vitals and just say, hey, I've got to jump right on it? No. But this thing called Core Web Vitals is out there. Pay attention. Start paying attention. Start putting your money aside if you don't have it. Start thinking about what you want to do. Like I said, if you're a Mediavine advertiser, you're in a good place. Go talk to them about their theme. Us here at New Block Hosting will create your staging site for you, free of charge as part of our support. Submit a ticket, let them get you on the schedule. If you're not a Mediavine subscriber, take a look at the vitals of your site, figure out what you want to do. Figure out what you want to do that can help you. If you need some guidance, ask us. We do have limits that we place on doing stuff like this, and I'll explain what that is. Are we going to go in and redo your theme for no charge? Absolutely not. Are we going to go in and redesign your site at no charge? Absolutely not. Will we help you get a theme file installed, up and running, so you can do some work? Absolutely. Will we help you make the proper backups? Absolutely. Can we give you some advice along the way? Absolutely. We don't mind that. We don't mind that. For the right amount of money, and I'm not throwing that out there to tell you that we want a massive amount of money for a competitive number, depending on the project. We can always do more. But, we don't have the manpower to do hours and hours of site design work and optimization work free of charge. I wish we did. But that's just not the way it works. Keep in mind what you're doing. Be smart. Be careful. And I'm going to just call it what it is. Don't believe everything you see on social media. I know a lot of you out there are close-knit friends. You can easily look up somebody on Facebook and see that they're friends with 50 people, 100 people that are clients at here or somewhere else. Let me just give you a little piece of advice. When we went through school, we all had friends. Some friends were 100% honest with us. Some friends were 90% honest with us. Some friends were less. But we knew who those friends were. Remember one thing. Blogging is competitive. Especially when you start talking ad revenue. And sometimes when blogging stories, be it hosting, design, or whatever, get on the internet and get on social media, it's like catching the fish story. It gets bigger the more it's told. The story has changed. That's why I said in the beginning of this video, come see us at New Blog Hosting. Sales at newbloghosting.net, support at newbloghosting.net. We don't have any skin in the game. We can at least give you some advice. And understand that sometimes that advice may be different than what you get on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or anywhere. Understand that that is entirely a possibility. We get that rumors go around. We have heard them. At times we have been a part of them. At times we have had to intercept them. But understand that sometimes you have to look out for you. And if you ever need anything, you can always find us at newbloghosting.com, support at newbloghosting.net, sales at newbloghosting.net. We are always happy to help somebody. If you're looking at hosting special, a lot of times we have one running or have something available, you can always submit a ticket and ask. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've enjoyed it, you know the deal. Like, subscribe. This will be in podcast form later. As we go along, these videos will improve. I know we don't have, lighting, as you can see in the background and all that good stuff yet. We'll get there. If you like them and you find it useful and people subscribe and people like, we'll get there. We do these like we run New Blog Hosting. The goal is keep them original. I don't script these. These are off the cuff. If there's something you want to talk about, leave it in the comments. We'll do it. Maybe later we can get some guests, do some live streams. Whatever you're looking for, let us know. Tutorials, information, share it with us. This is a good opportunity. Take care, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. If you're a New Blog Hosting customer or you have worked with us, thank you for your business. If not, jump over to newbloghosting.com. Check us out. Join us. Migrations are free. If you need anything, give us a shout. Take care, everybody. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.